Thank you for listening to the BJJ Brick Podcast. We'll be bringing you Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and good times. We hope to flatten your Jiu-Jitsu learning curve, help you get the most out of your grappling ability, and meet your goals both on and off the mat.
Welcome back, my friends, to the BJJ Brick Podcast. This is a special episode after day one of the ADCC event.
In Anaheim,
California.
Right. And this is not just a special episode because it's coming at you day of in Anaheim.
Day of.
Or maybe you're getting it the day after. But we have a special guest / co-host.
The only one that would come with you.
My wife Becky is here. This is Byron, and I'm joined with Becky, who has attended the event with me. Mm-hmm. And we get just wanted to do a little bit of a show here, quick recap of some things we saw and would like to chat about before day 2 starts up.
Yeah, let's get into it. Let's make it happen. So first, the rules are different.
Yes.
From the IBJJF.
True. So there's a lot of rules that are different, and anyone should really, who's interested in watching how these matches unfold, should know them, because I think it helps you understand why maybe they're doing certain things that they're doing. Like the point system is quite a bit different. You know, they're assigning different point values to different positions or different techniques. But
okay, yeah, that, and I think I know what you're going to go into, the 5-minute thing.
Yeah.
Because I forgot. You had told me that, and I forgot. So there's somebody that had passed a guard. I can't remember what they did. They weren't giving them points. And that's because the first 5 minutes of the match, it's 1 10-minute round. And then the first 5 minutes, there's no points.
Yeah.
Awarded. Or, okay, can you get negative points?
You cannot. They're not giving out negative points. No points.
I guess that's not the right way to say give out negative, but whatever. So, no points for the first 5 minutes. And I thought that made it exciting.
You thought it was... So that is designed to try to make more action happen and not get people to wait towards the end of the match to start doing something. So if you try something kind of crazy and you end up getting, on side control from the bottom for a little bit, you don't get you really penalized. If you're playing from guard and you really go for something and they pass your guard and you could recover, you're okay. You didn't really lose anything. That's the plan. It doesn't always work like that, though.
No, but I thought that a lot of these were exciting fights.
Yeah. Talking amongst the people at the event, this has been a awesome ADCC so far, and
more than normal, you're saying?
Yeah, because sometimes some matches inevitably they're going to wait around and then hit that 5-minute mark and then start scoring points and try to win. And so the first 5 minutes in the past, not consistently, but sometimes the first 5 minutes is really just let's wait till the game starts.
Yeah,
because there's no point in me working super hard against a guy I can't submit because he's a very tough person, but I know I could rack up some points. So sometimes that rule fails, but today it was really nice.
Yeah.
You mentioned negative point. How would one score a negative point?
I'm glad you asked, because you can't do neck cranks, which I didn't see anybody doing. You can't slam them to break the guard. And then, of course, you can't hold on to their shirt or anything like that.
Yeah. So, but those are just illegal techniques.
That's not what you're talking about?
Well, and I did see one attempted neck crank from the back.
Oh, you did?
It was a twist.
Yeah.
So, like, if you could just picture putting your forearm across someone's face instead of under their chin, and then you rotate your body and crank on the neck.
Okay, what about sitting down and pulling guard?
So, if you do that during the point section, they're going to issue you a negative point.
But you can do the first 5 minutes.
The first 5 minutes doesn't matter. So, if minute 5 starts, the ref will say, 5 minutes, points have started. And if you're in guard, that's fine.
Okay.
The problem comes when there's a scramble or you try a sweep and you both end up standing up, and you would rather be in the guard than standing up. You have to either fight for it, or if you pull guard, you need to have the confidence that you could actually score, because you don't need to do anything crazy. You need to score. A sweep would surpass that deficit you got of the -1. -1 is not a huge thing to be down.
Oh.
Any sort of score
Yeah.
is better than that. You just can't pull guard and be active and not do anything other than try things. You have to accomplish something.
Okay, so other penalties would be being too passive. You get a warning,
Yeah.
but then I think after one warning, or is it twice? You get 2 warnings, and then...
And some people were getting
Yeah.
that. If one person was really pushing the pace, the other person was backing up more.
See, and I couldn't hear them, but you being so close with your special media pass, could hear that. Woo-hoo.
So I was able to get a media pass. And so it's pretty neat being so close.
Anything that was different otherwise with the rules, that's a big change.
Those are the major ones. You can slam your way out of a submission.
Yeah.
Haven't seen anything real bad with that yet.
I haven't
I've
seen
seen a few
that.
people bail on submissions once
Yeah.
they get picked up. But that's I guess the result of that is you just don't do them once you get picked up. You value your safety a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a lot of matches where the contestants, the athletes, contestants, if the price is right.
Come on down.
One of the contestants ended up off of the mat.
Yeah.
And depending on how what's happening, it kind of affects what's going on. So if you're guillotining me and we end up off the mat and I'm not free, they're gonna let that ride and let it try.
I was kind of surprised they weren't even off the border of the mat. They were off of the entire mat. Sometimes on the concrete floor, they were still going.
Yeah, if it's close or if it looks, until you get out of it, it's a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
So that's the way that is. But a lot of times, you end up with 2 athletes who are, kind of fighting for a top position.
Yeah.
And they end up running each other around, that 30-foot mat is just not big enough.
No, okay, so there was an exciting fight that I didn't know either of these before, but Nick Rodriguez and Muhammad Ali, and that was an exciting fight. Although they weren't on the ground very much. They were mainly standing.
Kind of clinching each other and working for
and trying to throw each other around, but then the other one was too tough to throw around.
Yeah.
So if you haven't seen any, I would suggest to watch this one. But you can, the first part was exciting, but it went into the overtime.
Yeah. And that's just an
and
example.
I'd watch that part of it because I thought that was fun.
Yeah.
And they went into your area, the photographers, like 3 times, I think.
Yeah. I tended to take pictures of the smaller grapplers because they don't land on you quite so hard.
Oh, it hurt.
As those guys.
I wouldn't want those guys running into me.
Plus 29 kilos.
Yeah.
That's pretty big. But yeah, that was an entertaining match, and that just goes to show you that you could have a really entertaining match, and it doesn't have to end in a submission, or even I don't think they even had submission attempts. They were very closely matched.
They were.
And they both fought super hard.
Yeah, it was.
And nobody scored a point the whole time.
It was a good match because, like you said, they were very close.
Yeah, but so when you get a 30-second submission or a fast thing like that, that's likely just partly a mismatch, which is fun to watch, but it's not a highly competitive match necessarily
not really.
speaking. People like that. So who else did you notice out there on the mats?
Okay,
today?
I'm going to tell you, I noticed Craig Jones, and the first thing I noticed about him?
Was it his shorts?
Darn it, yes.
They were
His
loud.
leopard print shorts. And he even had the way the writing was on the back. It almost looked like it was supposed to be the back of a thong. I don't think that's what he meant for it to be. It was a little odd. But then the second thing I noticed about that match was how flexible his opponent's whole leg and ankle and everything was.
Yeah.
Because, man, he was really going after the leg locks and...
Yeah, he was working on his knee there quite a bit.
Oh, man.
And even if for
The
me, I'll
crowd
see
was
those
going,
a lot.
ooh.
And you see kind of the knee line, and if it's been, if they've got their knee kind of out, or if it's being twisted. And his knee was being twisted.
It
from my
was
point of
being
view.
twisted.
Ooh,
And then
that's tight. That
he
looks
would
good.
try and spin out of it, but still, man, that was...
Yeah, Craig
was-
did.
And I'm
it
talking
was a
about his
match.
first match.
Yeah, and it was a good match. It didn't, Craig caught him, but not right away. He definitely had to work for it. But yeah, it was a lot of action. Both of Craig Jones's matches were a lot of fun. Who else did you notice out there?
Okay, so it's funny because we were talking about this earlier and I called him Josh Hingerteen. Josh Hinger. But I like him because of his video. And I like his Hingerteen video.
Yeah.
That's the video I'm talking about, not any other weird video. But, so I was rooting for him. And I don't know why that one's really stood out to me.
It's because so in any sport, if it's shuffleboard, if you know the people, it's more interesting.
Yeah.
And you know Josh, and we, have learned from his DVD, and
that was probably the first DVD, Jiu-Jitsu DVD I watched.
Yeah.
You made me watch.
Yeah, and then it worked for you.
yeah. Except if I'm gonna go up against somebody, then you warn them about me attempting those and take away like my one weapon that I've got always.
Well, it's just fair because it's like let's roll, Becky, and then you're trying to murder them in the open.
I'm not trying to murder them. They're just falling perfectly into place into my Hingerteen, as we were saying.
Unless you want to have a tougher few seconds with Becky, because she will slap that guillotine on. Yeah, but Josh was in a couple of really exciting matches, as well. So another person that stood out kind of amongst the crowd.
This person stood out also not during the fight, in a crowd, because this person was so massive. And I don't mean for that to be mean, but just like she really is like a very large person.
Yeah.
Very large. And I'm not talking about amongst other women. I mean people. There was like all those people that were over there, you media folks, and then also the refs, and then also other fighters. And still, she was way bigger than everybody else.
Yeah. She's big, and she uses her size as an advantage.
She had her first match. Well, her only match of the day was Stephanie. I don't know how to say it. Egger from Switzerland.
And that was a good match. Stephanie put up a good fight.
You go, Stephanie. She didn't win, but she was tough. I mean.
Yeah. She basically threw her at one point in time.
She did.
But Gabby was able to get up before she could establish really control, so that it didn't count for a takedown.
Yeah.
And her first attempt, maybe it was 3 minutes in or so, I can't remember, but she tried to go for.
Oh yeah, it was before the.
Was it a takedown or for?
She tried to hip toss her.
Her first hip toss just failed. Like,
well,
it was like trying to hip toss somebody, like a child trying to hip toss.
She probably just reacted, which was what she's used to doing. But yeah, you don't want to try and hip toss that girl.
I don't want to.
No, of course not. But I still think for the size difference, I still think that Stephanie did a pretty good job.
Yeah. And then I enjoyed. I was sitting real close to the Gary Tonin, Hanato Shiruto.
Oh yes,
match.
So Gary Tonin,
fun.
I noticed him as he walked out. I guess he always has some costumes.
He likes to represent the red, white, and blue.
He sure was. He was representing with, I don't know what that was, a robe.
He had a robe,
a very
on.
long robe and a matching cowboy hat. So
and
that
rash guard, that was red, white, and blue, and shorts.
Yes.
And he had boots. He had cowboy boots that red, white, and blue.
He was matched up with
Hanato.
No. Okay. I wrote that wrong. Anyway, that was a good match.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a fun one. Same as
Canuto.
Yeah.
Hanato Canuto.
There you
That's
go.
a tongue twister.
Yeah. Awesome grapplers there going at it. That could have been the finals. But it just trying to get control and a lot of fighting for takedowns, and all of, they did have some action on the ground as well. But yeah, that was a lot of fun to watch that. So yeah, it's pretty fun. It's I'm impressed with the overall production value of it, and it seems like there's a bigger crowd than most ADCCs, because usually they put it somewhere where there's not an established jiu-jitsu community within driving distance. It seems like, and I think that they have that support here, so that seems like a good thing. because sometimes you watch the ADCC. I don't know how much of that you watch, but sometimes you'll watch the clips, and it's largely an empty audience because they're in China or somewhere that that doesn't have quite the following yet built up. So I think that these athletes are getting that the crowd they deserve. Obviously, there's more people watching online than are in the arena.
You know what else I learned today, Byron?
What did you learn?
So today I learned that Poland and Indonesia have the same exact flag, except it's inverted.
What color is it? All right.
Well, it's the top half is white, and the bottom half is red, or vice versa, depending on which flag. And I couldn't figure out. I think because of his the pronunciation of his name, he was Polish, and I hate to say I don't remember who he was going up against, but I looked it up because I wanted to know where that was from, and I found several flags that were white and red, very similar, but those two are the exact same, only inverted. Fun fact.
Fun fact.
That's a fun fact.
And if you're going to design a flag, put a little more detail in it.
Put a tad more detail.
Not that we're making fun of their flags, but
no.
Sometimes they're hung vertically, and then that's really hard to figure out how.
Yes, that was the problem, and it was different than in his little teeny flag on his name. So I'm not really sure. Anyway,
yeah,
I don't know if they were sure.
But you're rooting for him, though. Well,
I was rooting for him because I don't see a lot of people from Poland.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that would be fun for Poland to have. But I think I think that guy lost.
So, yeah, I don't remember. It was a long day, lots of jiu-jitsu, lots of matches, and it was just kind of a lot to take in. Tomorrow.
What are you looking forward to, like any particular matches?
So I think all the matches just get more intense as you hit the last two matches of the bracket. It's going to be the best people that were of the group will be there, and then the super fight, and then the absolute. I think I'm more excited about the absolute. I don't know. Wait till it all happens, but the absolute is just a crazy thing that just every time ADCC, the absolute happens. It's, you look at the guys out there and you're like, okay, well these two, like you just imagine yourself in a tournament and you look in your bracket, it's like, okay, I've got to be able to beat these people in my bracket. But really, you can look at anybody on the mat and say, I'm going to have to beat this guy or somebody who beat that person.
Yeah.
And it's just a kind of a cool feeling that they kind of mix it all up and they'll get an absolute champion. So looking forward to that. Hope it's a good absolute bracket and exciting matches. So yeah, tomorrow will be a lot of fun.
Lots of fun. And so that starts same time, which is 10 a.m. Pacific time.
Yeah.
Okay. But not you. You're getting up early.
I always get up early.
The media guy, yeah.
How does it work when we go in a hotel? And
listen, every time we... for some reason, it doesn't matter what time. Like, if we're going to the other side of the world, you have to get up and putter around at like 5:30, and you're puttering. Like, what are you doing in the room? I'm still trying to sleep.
A lot of times I putter. See, I putter.
You're puttering.
I'm putting enough clothes on to where I could get out of the room.
But, no, you are doing more than that. I don't know what else. You're puttering forever.
But I do try to leave if I'm awake, when I wake up in the morning, I'm just awake, and so I will either wake you up or I could get out of here. And you sleep pretty good late morning, like 6:30 or 7 late morning.
Not when you're
sleep
puttering.
A little bit better in the morning than you do in the early evening going to sleep.
It's true.
So I try to get. I'll just if we're home, I just go another player to the house.
Putter elsewhere.
In the
usually.
hotel, it's a little tougher.
Just putter in the room.
I'll be playing golf if I'm putting that much.
You might as well.
So this has been a little bit of a special episode here. I don't think you've ever been on the show before. You've done a voiceover thing a long time ago.
I have.
And how was this compared? How was this in general?
What do you mean? How was it? I don't know.
We talked about it.
I don't know. As long as people don't say, "Don't ever have her on again." Don't do that.
So if you enjoyed the the episode, the special episode from ADCC. So you do one every Monday, and this is definitely not that, because this is a timely manner. We want to give our thoughts, and this podcast doesn't really cover live events very often.
Yeah.
So this is kind of unique for us, or me. Very unique for you, because you haven't been on a...
I hear you all the time, though.
No, you don't. You hear me from my...
That's what I'm talking about. I hear you recording all the time. No. I don't need to listen to it again. I hear you.
Okay. Yeah, I wouldn't expect that.
No, I did. When you first started, I did listen to them. But now I hear you.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're getting off track.
You don't get to hear
it's time for
the
a
guys
wrap
making
up.
fun of me, because I don't see that part. Anyway,
that's true.
We'll wrap
That's
it up.
true.
We hope to do another one of these tomorrow. We'll see how the whole day goes, if we're too exhausted by the end of the day. But hopefully we'll record a little snippet and share some thoughts.
And maybe you can get some interviews.
Okay, so I'm hoping to get some interviews with some people behind stage. I'm just like, I don't know. It's probably just me more than anything. I don't want to interrupt people. I know these athletes are like in the zone.
Okay, but
really
that's
focused.
why you should talk to the coaches.
And I do, and I'm also very interested in the coaches. Like, what are they doing? How are they preparing? How do they get their, how are they thinking about the competition, or are they thinking about their fighters more?
And I know we're supposed to wrap this up, but I wanted to ask about, I call him Rash Guard Coach because John
Danaher.
What?
You got it.
Wears a rash guard
Yeah.
and a fanny pack
Yeah.
all the time. And he was barefoot today.
Yeah.
He's an interesting creature.
Yeah.
I hope you try and talk to him. I like him. I've seen some of his, when he's talking about a match,
Yeah.
and he's very, well, I don't know the right word for it, but he really breaks things down very intelligently. I like him, but he's very interesting.
Yeah.
So you should try and talk to him. We'll see if we can get that.
All right. We'll see what we get tomorrow. And, yeah.
Ask him what's in the fanny pack.
That's a little personal.
Sir, what's in the fanny pack? Everybody wants to know.
Thank you for listening. I hope you find the time today to roll. After all, the best way to get better at Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is to do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.